Thanks for listening to the Clive Barker podcast, the only podcast dedicated to the imagination of Clive Barker. Coming up next on episode 421, Jose and Ryan visit and talk about the limited release Lord of Illusions Blu-ray box set from Unbrella Entertainment, plus some appearances by our Cenobite friends. Check it out. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and an advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click the sidebar and follow the link to his Etsy shop, where the artwork has returned from the local galleries. New stuff in there, and I got my second one, Snail Bait. All right, well, welcome. This is episode 421, and we're doing another news episode because, of course, as soon as we got off of the recording of our last episode, some more news came out, and it was about another release of a Clive Barker movie.
Well, yeah, another re-release of a Clive Barker movie. So, Lord of Illusions this time, right?
Yes, and I should, there's some caveats with this one, I think. So, for one thing, when you click on the pre-order, it does come out in U.S. dollars, but it's from an Australian store. And so people should be careful about that. And I've got messages out. I put a message on the original post to the, is it Umbrella, I think is the name of the company? Umbrella Entertainment. Asking, because they as soon as you click on the pre-order, it automatically converts to U.S. dollars. So you don't realize it right away that it's an Australian, and it says that it's going to tell you the shipping cost once you put it in the cart. And it's like, so I don't even know how much it would be to ship, but I know shipping to and from Australia is ungodly. But
I opened the website, and it is coming up at $65 US for me.
Yeah, because it looks at your IP address and automatically converts it to US dollars.
Okay, so now I'm going through the cart. I'm just going through the cart here to see. So it says, $65 US, and then says tax included, shipping calculated at checkout. Yeah. Free USA shipping at US 140 plus. Okay, let's do checkout. So we're not getting free shipping because it's just $65.
Yeah.
Now, let me see. Okay, it's asking me to put my Google Pay or credit card. Let's see. I'm going to try putting just my name real quick.
So this is just one of my issues. And my other one is it doesn't say anywhere. Well, issue number 2 is it's a regular HD Blu-ray release. It's not a 4K.
Okay.
So we've already gotten that with the Shout Factory release, which is out of print.
Right.
But so that's my other issue. And then issue number 3 is it doesn't say anywhere on this website if it's region locked.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead and...
And I asked him. I went to the original post from Umbrella Entertainment's website, and I asked him, hey, is this region locked? And they haven't replied to me.
Okay, so once I tried putting my email and my information and went to pay, it says that shipping method for standard international is $22. So 65 plus 22, my total would be $87 to order this.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a better deal than what I've gotten trying to ship things to Australia.
Yeah. So it seems like for U.S. with shipping for $22, it might end up being $87 for this edition from Umbrella Entertainment. Yeah, that's a good point that you raised. So I don't know what is the region for this. So I guess if you do get a reply, we'll probably post that on our Facebook or on our blog or something like that.
So the good news about this edition is it's got new artwork, right? And it's got a new booklet by Phil and Sarah Stokes.
Yes. Yeah. So it says here, there's extras only available from the Umbrella web store. Yeah. It says custom artwork, rigid case. And I love the new artwork they created. It's got Nyx with his arms, stretched out on his sides. His acolytes are kind of wincing back from his flaming glory.
Yeah.
There's some floating swords alluding to the trick of Swan's last act.
Yeah.
And there's all these like tarot cards floating around Nyx as well.
Yeah.
So I think this art is really amazing.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Says custom artwork rigid case, original poster art slipcase, Lord of Illusions 48 paper pages, perfect bound book with new content written by Phil and Sarah Stokes, head curators of the Clive Barker Archive, Anthony C. Ferrante, who used to work for Fangoria, I believe, Andrew Nett, and more. And then it also gives you 8 art cards, which I think are little versions of what you would see lobby cards, right? It's got one of those with the Dorothea and Harry D'Amour looking outside of the hut where Nyx is resurrected. It has one with, all those like images that you've probably seen from lobby cards.
Yeah, and Harry D'Amour pinning Butterfield up against the wall before he gets electrocuted and stuff.
Harry D'Amour without a shirt on, holding a gun, looking around the corner.
Yep.
A3 reversible poster. So it's the one with the face, the eyes between the two hands. With the.
I had that. I had a big poster of that on my wall. Ever since the movie came out, until I moved so many times that the little tack holes got ripped out,
right?
And I just had to throw it away eventually.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And then it says limited edition numbered release. So they say that this should be 2 discs. Like you said, they don't explain what region locking this might have. It just says release date would be November 2023. Yeah. So if you're in the market for yet another release of Lord of Illusions, and this one comes with that little book by Phil and Sarah, we can always attest that those books are really good, right? I mean, did you enjoy reading the one from the Scarlet Box?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
it was
definitely.
Pretty good. Yeah. Very, very good book.
And I think that, and they talk about it has the audio commentary from Clive Barker. So I think this is the one that goes all the way back to the Laserdisc, of Lord of Illusions from 1995, where he talks about the laser release.
Yes, the laser. Then it has all those things that you already had before if you have that previous release, but there's new features. So there's a new interview with special effects artist Howard Berger.
Yeah.
From KNB, I believe. And then a new interview with production designer Steve Hardy.
So it's a 1 hour long feature, right? I believe.
Didn't say here.
It does if you go to the website, I think it says that.
Awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
So that's always good to hear from the production designer and special effects artist, because they get to tell you a lot of stuff from behind the scenes that, you never knew before. Like, how do they do this scene? Or, how did they decide, because it's a beautiful, very elegant movie, right? It takes place mostly in Los Angeles and theaters and all that stuff. So it's got a lot of great sets.
Yeah. So I think I'm glad you looked up how much the shipping cost would be, because I think that, so that's one question answered. I think $80 is a little steep for something that's not a 4K release, and I know for you it doesn't matter if you don't have the equipment.
I don't even have a Ultra HD Blu-ray player. I just have a regular 1080p Blu-ray player.
And you have the Shout Factory one like I do. And so this is a decision you have to kind of weigh carefully. It's like, do I really want to replace the Shout Factory one with this one?
Yeah, I want that Phil and Sarah book. That's the only thing that I would buy it for.
Well, and then if some other some other 4K edition comes out from a United States company that might include that book later on, would it be better to wait?
I don't know, man.
Or is this book exclusive to this release?
Hey, we can always send an email to Phil and Sarah and find out, but I don't think that we would know that until at least this edition has been released, because who wants to say, oh yeah, no, they're saying it's exclusive, but it's probably going to come out later in a different, release. So nobody's going to say that now, because otherwise that would hurt the release from Umbrella.
But honestly, I don't know if their release is going to be hurt, because it's limited numbers, so they're going to sell all of them no matter what.
And they don't even say, at least I can't see here, how many are supposed to be numbered. So
right, that's another thing. They don't say, they say it's limited, but they don't say how many.
Everything is limited, right?
Yeah. It's like that Nightbreed. Remember, that was limited to be 5,000, and then at the last minute they changed it to 10,000.
Yeah. There's that. If you're a big Lord of Illusions fan, and I know I've seen people saying stuff. I did kind of complain a little bit, like, I don't know how many times I'm going to be buying the same movie over and over.
Yeah.
I think I told David, our friend, on Facebook, I said, if I buy it, it'll just be because of the book by Phil and Sarah.
I just got the 4K Rawhead Rex in the mail yesterday. So
nice.
And it looks exactly the same as the Blu-ray of Rawhead Rex that I also got from Kino Lorber not too long ago.
Sure.
So I think the Blu-ray is going to go into my Kickstarter pile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's that new release of Lord of Illusions, which David, I was talking to him and he said something that makes some sense. It's like, well, I understand people getting tired of buying the same movie if it's like a Hellraiser, because how many releases have been with Hellraiser, right? Hellraiser 1 and 2 and, Anchor Bay and Arrow and I don't know, man. So many different releases of Hellraiser.
Yeah.
A lot of Illusions, there haven't been that many. There's been the regular DVD, right? The Laserdisc, the VHS, and the Arrow Special Edition, and now this one. So... and this one has
the Shout
extra
Factory.
content.
It was a Shout Factory special edition.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and the weird thing about this one was that the theatrical release is the rare version of it, right? So because the director's cut is what came out on home video.
Yeah, arguably, you can say it's the rarer version,
right? Because everybody saw the theatrical cut in the theaters. But then Clive Barker got his director's cut for the home release. And so it was a lot tougher to find the theatrical version.
Is it even released anywhere, the theatrical in the physical media, like maybe the VHS?
It is now, right? I think. It is. I think on streaming, and it is now on this box set. And I think it's also, and I think it's also on the Shout Factory version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first disc has the theatrical cut and the theatrical trailer, and the second has the director's cut and all the other extras.
But they're not exactly different movies. It's just 11 minutes, right? I think of
right,
and it's just shorter segments of things. There's like
some parts are cut where there's some talk between Swan and Harry D'Amour in their car and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, and then the scene of the panning over all the dead families and stuff of the cultists was cut out, and the extended scene of Butterfield getting electrocuted. Was cut down
with a bubbling face.
Yeah, all that was cut out.
Nowadays with Blu-rays they can do that, right? They can put in the long version and then just make a different version that has... Well, wait, no. I think, they put each version in its different disc. But I've seen movies where you can get different versions of the movie on the same disc. They just kind of skip some scenes.
Right, and especially they used to do that when DVDs were a new thing, and it's like, oh, now you've got chapters, and they would just kind of skip around and stuff. But I think, to preserve the experience, it's probably better to not have your movie loading crap in the middle of your watching and to just...
So, if you think that this edition with the mini cards, the A3 reversible poster, the new artwork slipcase, all the little extras that come in this, plus the book, if they're worth for you the $65 plus $22 shipping. If you're a Lord of Illusions fan and you're a completist, this is something you got to get.
Well, and especially if you missed out on the Shout Factory one, which a lot of people did. I don't think that people realized that one was going to go out of print as fast as it did.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I went and looked because I went to see, hey, is this thing also going to be able to pre-order on Amazon? Because when we were preparing for this news episode, and it's not there. But I did see there were like 2 copies left on U.S. Amazon of the old Shout Factory version.
So I was just looking while you were saying that. I was looking on Reddit and Google to see if Umbrella Entertainment are region coded, and I found one Reddit thread here from Boutique Blu-ray subreddit that says, "Our Umbrella Entertainment release is actually region B, or is that not true? I've heard people can play them just fine on region A players, but can anyone confirm? Thanks." And so the first voted comment says, "The ones I own play on a region B player. I would check Blu-ray.com before buying any, though." I guess.
So we don't have a good answer. So I'm inclined to believe that these are region free because they should say something, right?
I don't know, man. Everybody else on this Reddit thread is saying that the things they get from them are region B on the case.
Oh. Well,
yeah.
but
another guy says they're marked as Region B, but they're unlocked and play on anything. I mean, it's really up to, I see what you mean. It's kind of a little hard to understand.
Yeah, because it's pretty sneaky to not say on their website, and then when you go to the website and they automatically convert your currency to US dollars.
Yeah.
Then why would they trick you into buying a movie that you can't play?
Well, yeah, I don't know if we could call that tricking.
They make it easy to ship to your country.
I mean, nowadays, there's a lot of people who...
They should inform you, if, hey, I see that you're buying this in the United States. Are you aware that this is a Region B and you might not be able to play it? So sure. I'm inclined to believe that this is region free. Because I think otherwise, I think that would be kind of underhanded to be selling you something that you can't play.
You can buy British Blu-rays through Amazon. Doesn't mean... Just because they can ship it to you doesn't mean that those are going to be your region, right?
Yeah, but on Amazon they tell you that they're They tell you what region they are right there on the site.
I'm looking through Blu-ray.com and I'm looking up releases by Umbrella Entertainment. Yeah. And for example, they got Hercules Returns Blu-ray, says 2K Blu-ray, Region B, and then under parenthesis AC untested. So it just says it's B.
So, but that's like a review site, right? So that's them. They know that it worked for Region B.
Yeah. So they never tested on an A or C player. So I guess we'll get back to this, right? Let's put a pin on that, and we'll get back to this when we have a more definitive answer.
I'm looking at my question to them. An hour ago, they still haven't replied yet. So we'll see.
Sure. All right. Another thing on the news is that, of course, Doug Bradley had his birthday on September 8th. Happy birthday, Doug Bradley.
And thanks to Pete Atkins for pointing this out. He posted it on his Twitter or X. I don't think I'm ever going to call it X. Yeah, I'm never going to call it X. So Peter
Atkins is on Threads as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Threads looks exactly the same as Instagram to me. But yeah,
it looks the same as Twitter to me.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so thanks to, and he had pointed out that he's known him since 1974, and so 49 years, which is exactly how old I am. But yeah, so this is awesome. Happy birthday to Doug Bradley.
I love it. I love that we still have Doug with us after some health scares. Yeah. And I'm really happy that he's doing okay. And he was recently in a movie, right? Thorns?
Right. Yeah. I
haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it either. We haven't really talked much about that, and we haven't had news episodes excepting this one and our last episode for a while. So we haven't really gotten much of a chance to talk about Thorns. But we should probably check that out. It's got kind of definitely a Cenobite-like vibe to it from the trailers and stuff.
Let's see if we can push ourselves to rent that movie and watch it, and then maybe we can talk about it on the next episode or whatever.
If it's available for us to watch by then.
Yeah. I think it should be available.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll mark it down for to make sure that I watch it.
Yeah, the character in that movie looks just like a Cenobite. He's got like this crown of thorns around his eyes or whatever, and he's dressed in leather and it's black, and it's like, oh my god, this is just so Hellraiser.
Yeah, they're thinking, oh, who should we cast for a character like this? I don't know.
I think he plays a priest in the movie, Doug Bradley. Yeah. I think he plays a priest or another character. He doesn't play the monster, but he's in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And and so you've got another appearance, right, with Nicholas Vince and Simon Bamford?
Right. So Simon and Nick have posted about this on their Facebook yesterday. It looks like Cheddar and Butterball are bound for Sheffield this October. There's going to be a screening of Hellbound Hellraiser 2 in association with Arrow Video. And let me see if I can get more information about this, more on the Sheffield Hellbound screening. So it's going to be the Celluloid Screams Sheffield Horror Film Festival. And they're going to celebrate Arrow Video's upcoming 4K release. So they're going to play Hellbound Hellraiser 2 back to the big screen, followed by a Q&A and signing with Nick and Simon.
That's cool. I would love to have something like that nearby where I could just go.
Yeah. Celluloid Screams, Sheffield, United Kingdom, 19th through the 22nd of October, 2023.
Yeah. Anybody that goes to that, let us know how it went. What'd you think?
Yeah. I wish I was in the UK.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that all these like people in the UK are getting all these great events and stuff, because I think for a while a lot of people were complaining that these things only happen in the US and all these releases were coming out just for the US, and now they're coming on both sides of the Atlantic, which is great.
Yeah. Nicholas Vince's shop has got 40% off for photos.
Yeah, for 2 photos you get 40% off. So
that's cool.
If you've never been to Nicholas Vince's shop, go there, because you can buy autographed pictures. You can buy some of his books and autographed books. And he's got pictures of himself playing Chatter, Kinski, and, all that stuff.
That's a great way of getting autographed photos if you can't make it to a convention. And I bet that was a smart idea of him to do, especially during the pandemic when people weren't going to conventions for the last few years. I know they're starting to pick up again now, but yeah, that's cool.
I think his store existed for years before that, but there's another appearance, right? So we talked about on episode 420, we talked about that there was going to be the unholy reunion of, at Cine XS Hellraiser in Birmingham. Now we've got another one. So Spooky Empire.
Yeah. And where is Spooky Empire?
In Orlando.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be October 27 through the 29th, 2023. Their tagline is the dark side of Comic-Con, and they say it's going to be at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando.
Oh.
So that is going to be the ultimate horror and Halloween weekend at Spooky Empire. And who's going to be in it? Let me get that for you. It's going to be the 4 original Hellraisers at Spooky Empire. So we're going to have Andy Robinson, Claire Higgins, Simon Bamford, and Doug Bradley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you don't get to see Andy Robinson and Claire Higgins at an event with other Hellraiser actors a lot. So it's a good chance to stock up on those signatures on your posters and DVDs.
It seems like I went to an event with Andrew Robinson, but he canceled because
that sucks.
Because he was supposed to be there, I don't think I had anything autographed by him. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but he seems like a nice guy. I mean, I follow him on Facebook and stuff.
Want a cookie, little girl?
Yeah, right.
He'll always be Scorpio to me.
Scorpio, right?
Yeah. So that's great that we're, finally after years of not having Comic-Cons or, conventions, now everything is open up again, and we're starting to be able to meet up with all these favorite actors in all sorts of events. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can go to Orlando, you can see Pinhead, and then you can go visit the Disney parks.
Yeah.
Because Disney owns Hellraiser now.
Right, yeah.
That's the world we're living in.
Right, yeah, Disney owns everything. But so to kind of flesh out the end here of this episode, I looked at Reddit to see what people were talking about, and one guy wanted to know, he says, I'm wanting to get into Barker. Where should I start and why? And so lots of people were talking about, well, are you into horror or are you into dark fantasy? And so they were like, if you're into horror, you should start with the Books of Blood. And if you're into dark fantasy, you should start with Weave World. And that's all fine. I would say, from our point of
books,
view.
Yeah, in terms of books, I would agree.
And
there's also the question.
He was talking about books.
Do you want to read a book, or are you looking for movies?
He was talking about.
Also, you could start with Hellraiser.
Yeah. He was talking about.
He was talking about reading Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say start at the beginning. I mean, start with the Books of Blood and work your way chronologically through everything. Books and movies and comics. Yeah,
Books of Blood for starters, absolutely 100%, because that's where you find some of the most amazing short stories that Clive Barker's written. And if you can go through Books of Blood, and if you love them, then you're going to love the rest of the stuff that he made.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other books take a lot more investment of time and energy, right? I mean, the Books of Blood, some of those short stories are really short. And so, you could get hooked on something that's really short, and then you can kind of dip your toes in and then work your way in slowly.
I read Weave World in 5 days, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that
was back in the day when I was in my 20s.
Right, and that's also probably not what you started with.
Right. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I started with the Books of Blood. But I mean, I really started with comic books and movies.
Yeah.
Then I graduated into buying books when I had them accessible to buy.
I started with Nightbreed, and then Cabal, and then the Books of Blood, and then everything in order after that.
Right.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah, we're in agreement that Books of Blood should be the place to start.
Yeah. They are horror, but they're also kind of whimsical and fantasy, and there's all kinds of... I mean, the Books of Blood makes it sound like it's pure horror. And there's a lot of that in there, but it's not all just horror, too.
Also, if you want a sampler, I mean, you always have the essential Clive Barker, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think for me, the essential Clive Barker is really kind of a teaser.
Yeah, I mean, I never bought that book. I've seen it. I've held it in my hands.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need it. It's just a sampler book of Clive Barker's stories. So I already have all of these in other forms. But now I wish I had it because I don't think you can find it that easily.
I have it and I read it, but I kind of was like, it just kept making me wish that I was reading the actual books instead of.
Because you finish writing the excerpt and then you're like, I want to continue reading the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Where does it go? That's the whole point of these samplers, And for
everybody that listened to our last episode, we were talking about our last listener. This was a comment that we had on YouTube, right? He was talking about how we should continue on with the Hellraiser comics, and we said, well, I think we've done them all. And then so during the editing process, I went through and I listed all in our show notes. I listed every single comics episode that we've ever done, and it turns out we never covered the Boom era Hellraiser comics.
Right. So, looks like I got a few trade paperbacks to buy.
Yeah. Well, and the Boom comics are a little tough to follow because they would get to like number 20. They got to number 20 and then they stopped, and then they'd start a new series and go to like 1 through 4, and then they would stop, and then they'd do another series and they'd go like 1 through 4 and they'd stop.
Road Below, all those like different titled stories.
Yeah, exactly.
That was one thing of
Reply,
the new,
and
that was one thing about these new comic book releases, that it's become kind of commonplace. Like, instead of having a single continuously numbered run of comics, now they got, this is let's say regular show, but regular show number 1 of 4 for this story, and then they start another one of 6 for this story, and it gets a little complicated because at some point you're like, which ones should I read next? It's not like, after this, what is the next chronological story? It doesn't matter. They're all self-contained, but it's like, I wish that they would just keep numbering them continuously, right?
It's like they are afraid they're going to get canceled at any time.
Could be.
Yeah. And so,
maybe it's just a way that sometimes people might feel intimidated if they see, I'm starting this run of comics on number 25. Maybe I won't get it if I don't have the previous ones.
Right.
And when it's a number 1, everybody goes like, number 1, the story starts here. I'll just start collecting this. Yeah. So it's all strategy in terms of like trying to get people to buy more comics, but it's just a personal preference, I guess.
Yeah, but that's all to say that thank you for pointing that out, and that was something that we missed. And I think because we covered it as news, that we forgot to cover them just as a kind of a literary review. Right. And so, yeah, definitely we will do that, and I think that's something that we can maybe start in on this year and see how far we can get with it. But,
if I recall, it starts with Kirsty becoming the new Pinhead,
right,
and then it ends with like Pinhead fighting
Leviathan.
Dante's Inferno or something. There's a War of Two Hells at the end of it.
Yeah,
because there's like the hell of Leviathan, and there's the hell of the demons and Satan or something. I don't know. I forgot. It'll be good to go back into.
There's
that.
like multiple different hells. Yeah, and there were different writers, and so one and it was kind of like a telephone game where one writer would stop and another writer would pick up the story, but they would kind of not pick up where the other one maybe wanted to,
Sure.
Yeah, so I think there was the story got a little convoluted sometimes because different writers had different things that they wanted to do with the story.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they also brought back the Harrowers, I think.
Yeah.
Briefly, they were led by Tiffany, and they would destroy. Anyway, no spoilers.
Yeah.
We'll have plenty of time to get into that.
Yeah, but I was thinking about how short those are. Right, you could read an episode in like 5 minutes. So an issue. I mean, you could read an issue in like 5 minutes. So I'm thinking maybe we could cover 5 at a time on an episode.
It's possible. Yeah, we can totally do that.
Yeah, and then so we could get through the whole, first 20 in one in 5 episodes, and then we could cover like, the road below in one episode, and go on from there.
Yeah, so we're going to have some comics to read. Thanks for letting us know that we never really review those. So I guess we'll have to start doing that. Yeah.
And then coming next, we will, of course, be doing Land of the Dead. And I've been struggling with it's been herding cats, trying to set a date for our next Jericho Squad 77 episode.
Yeah.
Did you see how that was going?
Yeah. So,
oh, my God.
I know. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's Harry Potter's fault.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll get that done. We always do in the end. So, well, what was the moment we left off the Jericho Squad? We had just fought the Infernal Parade, and that's it. Yeah,
and gotten Ralph back. Yeah, because he had been kidnapped by the usurper of the Infernal Parade.
And we had defeated the wizard again. Yeah,
we'll be covering news as it comes out. More classic commentaries. We still have, like we said, 3 more of those, and our next thing should be Land of the Dead, and so we're looking at that probably for next weekend.
Land of the Dead.
Yeah, if everybody's okay with it, if Ed can join us for that one.
Yeah. I'm getting a copy of the movie, and we'll be able to all watch it together, and then do the commentary track for Land of the Dead, because we're going through all these Romero movies.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that one again
as part of A through Z of horror, Clive Barker's A through Z of horror, because he really liked the Romero movies. So we're just sticking with those.
And then do we continue on again when the new Twilight of the Dead? Do we bring this back again like a zombie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
If it's a good movie.
Yeah. Well, and there are more. There's Diary of the Dead and Survival of the Dead, but those were like kind of direct to video and like found footage ones and stuff. And honestly, they weren't, to me, they didn't have the same feel. I just didn't like them as much.
I think Land of the Dead was the last movie I saw of the Dead series.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've seen anything else past Land of the Dead.
Yeah.
But it might be cool to go into some of those. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
Zombies are just not 100% my bag.
Yeah. The problem is, after Romero did it, then everybody in the world started making zombie movies.
Sure. But the thing is, zombies to me are a little boring, and probably a lot of people who are, the Walking Dead fans are going like, what are you talking about? They're boring. They kind of are, because they're like, as characters, they're cardboard paper, right? Mm-hmm. All they do is walk around, try to get you.
Yeah.
And they're rotting corpses. That's all it is. I mean, you can have the quick ones, you can have the slow ones, but at the end of the day, it ends up being the same thing. It's just another metaphor for ultimately a metaphor for like our fear of death, ignorance, discrimination, whatever you want to call it.
Right. They're a backdrop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a MacGuffin, so we can see how people interact with each other in times of major stress.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But Romero did it first. Everybody else is just a rip-off.
The ghouls. Yes. Yeah. So, Land of the Dead is going to be the next one with Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. And John Leguizamo.
Yeah. My copy is signed by John Leguizamo.
Nice. He was also the Violator in Spawn.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right.
Another major role for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still have a soft spot for Spawn. You know they're making a new Spawn, right?
Oh, I had heard that, yeah.
Yeah, it's taken a while for them to kickstart that project, but Todd McFarlane has been talking about that for years now. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Hopefully,
I used to collect Spawn.
Hopefully better than the Tortured Souls movie.
Yes, yeah.
That never happened.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, so keep an eye on for that stuff. We'll get back to you as soon as we know if that Lord of Illusions Umbrella Entertainment release is region free or if it's region B.
Yeah.
And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Twitter, or our new Discord server. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com and search for BarkerCast. Opening music by Ray Norrish, end credit music by Matt Furness.
Thanks for listening.